next speaker, I'm very privileged, honored to invite my teacher in Allama Iqbal Medical College, very famous professor, Shahina Asif Chaudhry, who is the consultant gynecologist, obstetrician, professor at Lahore Medical and Dental College. Her topic is gender parity and maternal health issues in Pakistan, challenges and patient safety. Please welcome Professor.
Good morning. Thank you. I'm here today to present review of literature, of publications, data in Pakistan identifying gynecological and obstetrical issues in young girls. Out of about 180 million population of Pakistan, 52% are young adolescents, less than 15 years of age. Out of these young adolescents, 51.5% are girls. These young girls face issues like early marriages, teenage pregnancies, and serious obstetrical and gynecological complications. The plight of female health care and social status has become a crucial part of our clinical practice in Pakistan. The gender issues in Pakistan are immense. They start right from the uterus. Gender selection, non-empowerment of women, poor nutrition, poor education, early marriages, lack of facilities, poor knowledge of facilities, antenatal care, poor attendance, repeated births, poor spacing, and so on and so forth, ending up in obstetrical injuries and obstructed labor. Just on the top, I have written gender selection. As scientific knowledge grows and diagnosis of a female fetus in the mother's womb is there, the female child meets her end in early conception. The exact data is not available as to how many girls we lose because abortion is not legal in Pakistan. But data shows that 27% of the girls who presented as complications of septic-induced abortion, when interviewed, related to the gender of the baby, and that is why they got the termination of pregnancy. Adolescents, pre-pregnancy states they have poor nutritional reserves in Pakistan, resulting in maternal, perinatal, infant mortality and morbidity. About 1/3 of the girls are married before the age of 15 and 19, and half of those who are married again are then by the age of 20. So by 20, a great many of the girls are married off, and 1/3 of them are barely children themselves. This leads to problems of nutrition, and small food dates, preterm and infected babies are quite common. Multi-center statistics of urban population shows that 75% of the girls are anemic. Although the WHO defines anemia as a hemoglobin below 12 grams per deciliter in non-pregnant women over 15 years of age and below 11 grams in pregnant women. But the girls' data that we have is 75% of girls were under the 9 gram per deciliter and 3.5 to 4 and 5 grams of hemoglobin is quite a common finding in our labor wards. This data is from Lahore, and the education level of the girls, you see that uneducated girls interviewed were 73% and the graduates were about 15%. So this is the statistics from a large city which is well educated, but what we can imagine will be the status of education in the villages. Early marriages are a big problem. Every third young woman in the developing countries, excluding China, continues to marry as a child, that is before the age of 18. Early marriage is clearly correlated with a range of adverse health consequences amongst young women and their children, even after a host of confining factors are controlled. For example, unintended pregnancy, preterm delivery, fetal mortality, and violence in the marriage is a big issue. When the mother is a child herself, what to do? What do we tell her? She's not empowered, she's not educated, she is dependent on people who don't care what she feels. It has been seen that the younger the girl is, the less likely that she will attend the antenatal clinic. Unless we bring them to the hospital or to a clinic or to a doctor, it is very difficult to treat this problem. Teenage marriage is significantly associated with marriage violence, sexually transmitted diseases, and all the major gynecological and obstetrical problems. Complications were 22% higher in uneducated girls. According to available data, 40% under the age of 20 had sexually transmitted diseases as compared to 16% of those who married later than 24. And believe me, 24 is also very young. This young man has 2 wives, both are little girls themselves. Despite the introduction of various laws by all the provinces that condemn early child marriages, rural families still refuse to adhere to the laws. Child Marriage Restraint Act 1929 has been amended repeatedly by each province according to their own traditions. Problems exist in all the provinces. We cannot say they do not exist in Punjab or Sindh or KPK or Balochistan. They're all there. It is a social taboo to talk about formal adolescent and reproductive health. And believe me, we tried many times to speak about these issues in the schools, in the better schools, and we were not allowed by some parents and some religious sects. The inefficiencies of these laws can be attributed to the lack of education and awareness amongst the rural families who are unaware of the associated health issues with early child marriages. Mortality and morbidity rises in young girls, and it was seen that 41% died of hemorrhage and 15% of injuries, 31% pregnancy-induced hypertension, and 13% of septicemia. In Pakistan, the reported frequency from Peshawar and Lahore is 1 per 46 and 1 per 920 deliveries respectively, which is a huge amount of ruptured uterus. Early marriages, repeated births, and poor spacing lead to complications both for the mother and the fetus. The mother is already anemic, she is unaware, blood transfusion is not present, and this is what happens to them. Uterine rupture is a common obstetrical emergency in our area. Main cause is lack of proper antenatal care and early referral to women at risk. This is a study from Karachi. Karachi is a big metropolitan city, and a 2-year descriptive study from Karachi shows that 20% of the women presenting with obstructed labor led to ruptured uterus and was diagnosed as ruptured uterus. So it is not the rural areas alone, it's the big teaching hospitals who receive all these ruptured uteruses. Home births are common, and home births not only in the villages but in the developed areas of Pakistan as well, home births are still being carried on. Older relatives, traditional birth attendants, and in the villages, somewhat trained dais and some nurses and very small clinics operated by single-handed doctors are the main cause for the problems. They're single-handed and they hang on to the patients too long. It has been observed that age of the patient, her education, and her empowerment were major factors to keep the women out of the health clinics. Female attendance in antenatal clinics has been deteriorating over the years. Incidence of unintended pregnancies due to lack of family planning knowledge is on the rise.
2 minutes to conclude.
Quacks are at every corner of Pakistan. The health laws are there, they close down the clinics and they come up again. A considerable number of fetal, infant, and childhood mortality and morbidity was reported, and which is aggravated by problems every year with rains, with flooding, and poor drinking water, even in cities like Lahore. Hospital admissions are discouraged by families due to the distances, poor knowledge, overcrowding, and fear of operative delivery. Twin births statistics show that in follow-up visits, the female child had 25% less birth weight than the male and higher morbidity of 39% in the females. The 3 delays are at the height. There's a delay in recognition of the problem, delay in reaching the hospital, delay in treatment at the hospital, and then the problems due to that. The traditional birth attendants hang on to the patients for too long. There is poor transportation. This is not a village. This is just outside Lahore, not outside Lahore, I would say, at the border of Lahore. This is Gurki Trust Teaching Hospital, and our patients quite commonly arrive like this. Although there is a very good ambulance service in Lahore, but they are too busy dealing with trauma. There is no time for pregnant women to be brought to the hospital in ambulances. They usually come in public transport, on motorbikes, on tongas, on rickshaws, and sometimes on the donkey carts. Even when they reach the hospital, there is a problem. There is overcrowding, there is limited facilities, and too much work for the young doctors. According to numerous studies conducted by researchers, it is reported that majority of the women are aware of the contraceptives but do not use them because of various reasons. This is how the population growth has been going on. I will just read one line. The total population in Pakistan was last recorded at 178.9 million people in 2012 from 45.9 million in 2060, changing to 90% during the last 50 years. And our latest consensus, which is yet not being recognized, is even higher than that.
20 seconds.
I wish to thank you by just pondering on that unsafe abortion is very common in Pakistan and at a great cause of concern. Thank you very much.
I think it's time for a couple of questions. If somebody has any, please raise your hand. Yes, please.
Yeah, hi, good morning. It's a very hard-thinking data. To be very honest, I just wondering, being yourself a senior and holding a some political position in your country, have you done something, have you prepared any strategy in order to overcome all these complications and all these issues and concerns related to this female morbidity and mortality or improving their health?
Childhood marriages is very common, and we pretend that they happen in the rural areas, but in the cities of Pakistan, all the girls are getting married between 17 to 19. They're really children. They don't know what's going on with their lives. And we need to do something about that. I don't know what that something is. Thank you very much.
Yes, okay, sir. The figures that you gave are reflecting the figures of tertiary institutions.
Yes.
These are not community-based figures.
Yes, that is true. That's the only figures we have, because in the rural areas, the figures are not available.
Thank you very much.